Hello everybody, welcome back. One of the top questions we get all the time is, where do you get all your stuff from? Alright, so that's what we're going to go over in this video. Our top 5 way of sourcing. Now, disclaimer, of course, like with everything, this is just the way we do it. The way you do it could be totally different. The long and the short of it is, and maybe this spoils the whole video right from the get-go, but I don't think so, is that if it's working for you and you're making money, keep doing it. This is just how we do it, or our top 5 ways of getting merchandise for our eBay store. Again, this is just from our experience in the area that we live, so don't take this as fact, but you might learn something, so stay tuned. There really isn't an order to this, because one could be really good one month and really crappy next month. So, I'm not going to really give you an order, except just to keep some organization to the video. So, number 5. And in my opinion, at the moment, it's the least, it's turning out the least products for us. So, and that is corporate thrift stores. What do I mean by corporate thrift stores? I mean nationwide chains. Goodwill, Salvation Army, Savers. And then Savers might be the exception to the rule. I haven't had a lot of experience with Savers because we don't have any in our area. We have been to a few in Ohio, and we did okay there. But it was still like your average corporate thrift store where prices were high. All the good stuff was kind of not there, but, there was some gems if you really, really hunt it. And that seems to be the theme with most corporate thrift stores these days, is that you are going to have to really hunt. And you're going to have to catch them slipping, essentially. Something that they didn't even bother to look up, or something that maybe they should have looked up but didn't and just stuck it on the shelf. Those are going to be the vast majority of what you find. Is there exceptions? Yeah, there is. We know people in areas that shop at Goodwills that are just amazing. And it's there. It's just not as common as it used to be. So that's our lowest kind of rung of where we're currently getting stuff from, for our eBay store. Could that change? Yeah, it could. Out of all of these, that's the least likely to change. Because it seems like Goodwill and Salvation Army and all these stores, their prices are just kind of steadily continuing to increase. And a lot of that is our fault. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, people like myself that are on this platform that aren't maybe doing a little bit of contributing to that, just because Goodwill's seeing kind of, the reseller community and how they are monopolizing on buying things from thrift stores. Do I think it's the only reason? No. There's other reasons that we're not going to get into that are causing prices to escalate in these corporate stores. So number 5 being the lowest rung on our list, corporate thrift stores. Moving over to number 4. Again, this order is and can change. Some days, some months we do better from thrift stores than we do from other things. So it can change. But at the moment, this is where it is. Number 4, we're still on the same theme. We're saying local thrift stores. So your area and most areas have mom and pop run, or maybe small corporations that are local to the area, thrift stores. We have a couple of them. For those of you in the Pittsburgh area, we use the Red, White, and Blue franchise, and there's 2 of them in our immediate area. And those are the thrift stores that we tend to find the most products at. Sarah was there yesterday and came home with like 9 Cabbage Patches and like 5 really awesome vintage towels. So the little mom and pop thrift stores, or the small corporations where maybe they're area specific thrift stores, are going to be our number 4. And we do well there. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that we don't, because we do. We have bought many things. Now, there is still an art to shopping at them. You can't go walking up to their glass case where they have all the Nintendo 64s or all the Xbox games and everything and think that you're going to go there and make money on it. Our thrift store, in fact, has a whole wall behind the register of things that they value. And sometimes it's comical. Sometimes you see things back there and you're going, that shouldn't be back there because that's not really worth all that much money. And, you know, we see Louis Vuitton purses back there, which I almost guarantee are fake. I'm no expert on, you know, those types of things, but I'm saying probably not. But, you know, that's the way it works, is that they still know things that are worth a lot of money. So they are going to put them, you know, either behind the register or they're going to price them up to the point where you're probably not going to make a lot of money if you buy them to try and flip. But because they are locally run and because maybe they have a limited staff or maybe they don't have a research and development or they don't have an online presence like Goodwill does, a lot of the times they are going to either price things, you know, cheaper than they should be, or those things are going to go down as they sit on the shelves. So a good example of this is the last time we were at this thrift store, behind the register was a Cabbage Patch doll. And it was in a box. It was, you know, it was not a great Cabbage Patch doll, but it was in a box, and they thought, ooh, new Cabbage Patch doll, new vintage Cabbage Patch doll, we'll price this at $100 and some odd. And it sat there. It never moved, because anybody that knows anything about those dolls is not going to spend that kind of money on a new in a box, what could be new in a box. And that's the thing with Cabbage Patches, is sometimes they're in the box, but they were put back in the box. And that was the case with this one. It was not, it was, although it had its box, it was taken out of the box at one point in its life. And that's what happened. It slowly kind of decreased in price to where it got to the point where Sarah actually went in on a day she knew that tag would be on sale, walked in, bought it at 50% off or whatever it was, and that ended up being a deal. So the locally run thrift stores have a better chance there. At least we do. Now again, there's exceptions to the rules. I know your area might be different than mine, but the way ours works is our locally run or locally franchised thrift stores are much better for us than the corporate thrift stores. Moving over to number 3 for us, and this one is obvious. For those of you that are in this business or buy things to flip online for eBay, you do this. Most people do. Some people don't, but a lot of us do. Garage sales. Garage sales are awesome and can be awesome. Most of the time. We have some professional garage sailors in our area. There's 2 addresses we know off the top of our head because they run garage sales every weekend when it's nice out. And they're also sellers on eBay. Probably not very good ones if they're running garage sales constantly, but they do it and their prices are ridiculous. So nobody really goes there. But garage sales in general, especially community garage sales where, like, you know, a whole community gets together and just they all have the garage sales at one time, those are going to be a great source for anybody. Low price. The vast majority of people just want things out of their house. They're not there to haggle. They're not going to look prices up on eBay and go, well, it sells for $100 on eBay, so I want 70. You know, most people just don't care. They don't want it cluttering up their life anymore, and they're going to get it out of their house. So garage sales are a great source. We are coming into the warmer months for those of you that live in the temperate climates like we do. So garage sales are going to get more and more prominent. And if you watch any YouTube videos online or you watch any resellers online, you already know this, right? Garage sales are great and they're fun and makes for some great content too. So garage sales, number 3. We're not going to spend a lot of time on garage sales because we just don't need to. Everybody knows it. So, number 2 for us, and kind of a hidden gem, not really a hidden gem, but it's something that does get overlooked at times, especially if you're new to reselling, is estate sales. Estate sales are run typically by liquidating companies, and you know, they do research, and they can be kind of like thrift stores at times. The estate sales for us, and I'm going to take it one step further and get a little more specific, because we tend to steer clear of liquidator run estate sales. How can you tell? Well, it's easy. When you look them up online, if they have some sort of company name attached to said estate sale, chances are good it's a liquidator. Now, all liquidators aren't made the same. So we do have, in our area, we have a couple that we actually will go check out estate sales if they look good, because we know they're fair when it comes to pricing. There are, however, some bad apples, and I'm not criticizing people for making money, but there are people that kind of price things up in that higher tier. And if we get into opinions, my opinion is always going to be the same. The vast majority of people that are having estate sales want all that crap out of their house. So why shoot for the moon? Why not come back down into the middle we're in? But I digress. So estate sales. Our two primary things that we look for when estate sales is, one, if it's a liquidator we know is fair, or two, if it's a family-run estate sales. Family-run estate sales, for those of you that don't know, are like garage sales, but in the house. So the family's running it. They're trying to clear out, maybe a loved one passed, or maybe, they're moving or something to that effect, and they just need to get stuff gone. And rather than just throw it all in the trash, they're going to try and make a little bit of money. So family-run estate sales, and then again, trusted liquidator estate sales is our number two. And we tend to look for family-run estate sales, especially when the weather gets nicer around here. There's more and more and more of those out there. So just something for you to maybe think about. It didn't occur to us till probably, I'd say, a year into reselling, where we actually started looking at estate sales as being a viable option. And it is. You can make some good money with stuff at estate sales. So check into your local area for estate sales. Before we get to number one, if you guys are still here, and first of all, I want to welcome all our new members. A lot of people did watch our interview with Kevin, the Commonwealth Flipper/Picker, and a lot of you are new to the channel, so welcome to the channel. If you are new to the channel and you haven't actually yet done it, hit the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you a penny. And if you're enjoying this video so far, hitting a like button would really help me out. Next, number one. And everyone laughs at us for this one, and I know it's unusual. Well, so I guess it's not unusual. It's getting more and more usual, I think. And this kind of overlaps a little into estate sales, but we do the vast majority of our sourcing online, and it gets delivered here to our house. Or, we buy it, purchase it online, and then we go and pick up the items. So like HiBid is a good example of something like that. Now HiBid also is used for estate sales. So a lot of people will hire a liquidator, and instead of actually having the sale at the house, they'll just take pictures of everything, they'll put it all on HiBid, and people will bid on it, and then they'll come pick it up. Or some liquidators, not all, ship. We tend to steer clear of anybody that's shipping, though, because when you open up the nationwide market, you tend to get collectors. So people that are going to pay larger amounts of money for things and not resell them. So, we tend to steer clear of that. But there is a fair amount of auctions that just do pickup only. So meaning that they don't want to be bothered shipping things out. They want people to buy things and then come with their trucks or, their cars and come pick them up. So that's what we do when it comes to things like that in online auction sites. We do use shopgoodwill.com, and we do use a few other, we've been known to source on Mercari. We've been known to source on Poshmark. We've actually sourced on eBay before, where people maybe have lots of things. And by lots, I mean not a lot, I mean lot, L-O-T, of things that maybe they don't want to bother selling singularly. Postcards are a great example of that. We have bought lots of postcards. Lots, not a lot. So, and that all that is somebody didn't want to list them individually. They made a big lot of things, put it on auction. It didn't really go for all that much money, and we ended up winning on it. So it does work, and it can be done. Now, if you're like us and your store is focused more towards the collectibles / collectible paper market, this is a little bit more common, because a lot of people don't value old ephemera like they value other things. So you might have a seller who sells electronics constantly or sells clothing constantly, and they came across a large collection of postcards. They don't want to be bothered with it, so they're just going to sell it off. So you can find things like that. But our number one source is going to be online marketplaces, being HiBid and Shop Goodwill for mostly Cabbage Patches, because Sarah does buy the kind of wayward, damaged cabbies that she can fix. Well, not damaged, but dirty. And that she can fix up. All right, and that's going to complete our list. However, I'm going to give you guys an honorable mention, and it's really not an honorable mention, but it can be your best source of anything. And that is a local supplier, we'll call him that, but most people just call him a guy, or a hookup or something to that effect, meaning somebody out there that maybe does house cleanups, somebody out there that has a warehouse and just buys and buys and buys and then sells in bulk. There's people out there like that, and we used to have a few of them, and we still do, but we don't get a lot of things from them anymore because our store has evolved. But we do still have a few people that will contact us on a regular basis and say, hey, I got all this stuff. I know you sell it. And so we have done it in the past. And that is something that we obviously strive for. If we could find a source for postcards or ephemera or something like that, we certainly would entertain talking to people about things like that and maybe making bulk purchases. So always keep your ear to the ground when it comes to stuff like that. You can find some of your best deals from local people that do have lots of goods to sell. Maybe they were a former flea market person. Maybe they still are, and they just acquire lots of items. It can happen, and it's something that you definitely want to look out for, which is why I tell people all the time, tell people what you do, because that's how the relationships are formed and made. So just something for you to keep in mind. That's going to wrap it up here for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. We really appreciate it, and like I said before, if you haven't yet already and you made it this far, you might as well hit the subscribe button and hit that like button. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Good day, sir!